I might be a scientist now, but music is part of our day-to-day routine in my house. Music makes everything better.
No matter what we're talking about, I'm constantly learning from you.
My hope is that I'm able to inspire my music students as he inspired me.
And somehow, when I didn't see it in myself, you did. And you knew just the right words to keep me going, and kept me going when there was no one else who cared about the kid who wasn't going to amount to anything.
Among our grads, there's a very large number of persons who now have avocations in music. They're self-produced singer-songwriters, jazz musicians, country singers, instrumentalists, and they are involved in community music opportunities as well. We annually have about 25% of our graduates complete our state sequence in music, which means that they have completed at least 3 credits in music study, including 1 upper-level musicianship class. Annually, we have more than half our high school involved in music classes. Kids here take a lot of personal pride in what they've learned and collective pride in that they've received so much recognition for what they can do. But in regard to my community, some things we do are typical of music programs, such as we have ensembles that perform in our community for various functions. But I think the way that I've been able to make a significant impact has been beyond these performances. 20 years ago, I learned that in our town there were 3 churches with handbell choirs where teenagers could be involved. It seemed to me that the logical way for the school to help support this was to teach kids to play handbells at school and see if this could open up a door for those of them with church involvement to play in a group out in the community. We began buying a set of handbells at the school, 1 bell at a time, and started teaching kids how to play. We have seen them become involved in other handbell ensembles in our town, college, and as adults. A few years ago, I had noticed that many of our students were involved in a community-based effort to fight world hunger. I contacted the adults that coordinated this and offered to write a musical which the kids could perform, right and royalty-free, and donate the proceeds to the Hunger Project. I composed and directed a short musical which the kids performed. The proceeds, which were several $1,000s, were used to fight world hunger, to buy malaria nets, provided scholarships to a local preschool, helped build a well in Africa, and supported a social outreach to street kids in Brazil. I also directed a production of Snoopy that was cast and performed entirely by teachers at our school. With the proceeds, we were able to make a huge donation to our town library. Our Celtic American String Band has become a fixture for the special events of our local historical society. We have regularly played for their events, including a time on a horse-drawn wagon and a parade. The society is thrilled that we play period music, and we're proud to do it for our town. As far as the overall field of music education, the music program at our high school is a paradigm shift from a focus only on performing ensembles to include the overall experience of the general music class. All students are free to take general music classes in the high school and required in grades kindergarten through 8, which opens them up to experiences in recreational instruments, steel drums, composition, improvisation, musical theater, handbells, music theory, music technology, and sound recording. We've expanded the idea of the music class to all levels of our high school with separate classes for every grade that culminate in college music credit. I believe that if music education is going to survive, we are going to have to think about how we can help the general population learn and become engaged with our subject area. If we do, I believe that public support will grow. I've seen it happen. We've brought these types of experiences to others through our presentations at our state conferences. There are people who have heard our handbell ensembles and said, "You mean you let anyone be in this group and they still play like that?" Or our Celtic String Band that pairs our students with adults and hear people say, "This is what it's got to be about." I've written a set of lesson plans, which the New York State Education Department has included in its resource guide for meeting our state standards. These songwriting lessons guide the students through lyric writing, chord progression writing, and finally melody writing. They culminate in a singable, performable piece of music for the kid. My work with students is going to be featured in a presentation at the International Symposium of the Mayday Group, one of the largest progressive music education and advocacy organizations in the world. The group has adopted the name Mayday as the members feel that our future of music education in our schools has reached emergency status. Our general music program will be part of a presentation at their upcoming International Symposium in Vancouver, British Columbia. We have tried very hard to act as ambassadors for music education in the public school here, in particular those in rural communities. I've made it a priority to be transparent to other districts as an example of how to economically use our funding and impact the most students. The cuts we face in education are life-threatening to what we do in schools. We do advocate for our own program in Westfield, but to be honest, the high involvement of our students and their success has created our own advocacy. I've had many music educators from our state say to me something to the effect of, "I know you must be facing the same struggles we all do, but yet you're doing it. Tell me how it works in your district." I feel like if I am able to pass on a few ideas for helping to make our music programs sustainable and justifiable, I have done an important job. I believe that I have best been an advocate for music education by setting our schools an example of what can happen when a broader student population is targeted. I've tried to make what we do visible to persons who make decisions regarding public education. My students were recently given an audience at the New York State School Boards Association statewide conference last year, where we were not only able to perform a short program, but share how a small rural district was able to make a difference in the lives of children through music education. I try to make a difference with music. I have a strong background in my subject area from my training at the Eastman School of Music, and I started teaching children when I was 15. I believe my knowledge of my subject area, combined with my own study and experience with the psychosocial needs of the adolescent, helps bring music learning to a population of diverse and enthusiastic learners. And I love my job. And thank you for caring about what we do, Granby Foundation people.